In today's video, I'm going to tell you why keeping your woodworking business small may be the most profitable thing that you can do. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, man, I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you're having a great day. I hope that you're having a great year. In this video, I want to talk to you about why staying small may be your best option. Now, this isn't a normal video for us. We talk a lot about growing your woodworking business. But for some guys, we would recommend that you stay smaller. And I'm going to dive into why. Now, the first thing I want to say before we dive into these details is that there's really like this desert wasteland between being small and getting big. You're going to be profitable if you're small, but then in order to get big, you have to like make all these big moves and take on a lot of fixed costs that are overhead, okay? So moving into a commercial space, getting insurance, getting a box truck or a trailer for deliveries, getting better equipment, hiring employees, paying payroll taxes, right? These are a lot of the things that are going to make up this desert wasteland of like extreme unprofitability. So you either stay small and stay profitable, or you got to get big. So typically $20,000 per month or less, you can stay small. You can do it. You can maybe have a part-time helper. But if you get to like 20 to 30 or 20 to 40 and you don't have affordable commercial space, it's going to crush you. Some places up in the northeast part of the country, you can't get a 1,500 square foot or 2,000 square foot space for any less than $3,000 or $4,000 a month. That's really expensive. Here in Texas, where I am, we could get that space for $1,000 a month. We can afford that, right? But that would crush profitability for most guys. So here's the 3 points I want to give you on why staying small may be better. Okay, number one is that you have higher margins and lower overhead when you're small. Okay, right now, let's say, for example, you're working out of your garage. You're not paying anything for your garage, okay? You don't have any employees. So let's say that you are pricing your stuff accordingly. You should be running like 60 or 70% margins. You should be paying for materials. You're paying yourself all the labor, and you don't have any overhead. So you're not really paying for anything else. Every job that you get, let's say it's a $2,000 job, you should be able to literally keep like $1,200 of that for your labor, for the business, and you can reinvest that. You can put that in your pocket. You're going to be extremely profitable. As you start to scale and you start to grow, you're going to have a lot of fixed expenses that come with that. So just be aware of that. So as you're smaller, your volume is going to be lower. So you're not going to have as many sales. You're not going to have as much money flowing in and out of the account, but you're going to get to keep a larger percentage of the money that flows in and out of the account. When you get big, you're going to have a lot of volume. You're going to have a lot of overhead. You're going to have systems and processes. The profit margins are going to be smaller, but you have so much volume that you're making more money, if economics make sense. Okay, everybody's unique, everybody's different, so you got to really keep your eye on that, okay? So higher margins, lower overhead when you're small. Number two, as your overhead grows, your minimum numbers grow. Now, this was a huge realization that I had when I started growing my woodworking business, was that, man, when we move into this commercial space, when we get the showroom, when I take on these employees, the minimum number that I have to make has risen. When it was just me, you know, whether I did 20,000 one month or 10,000 one month, it really didn't make that big of a difference, right? It wasn't just detrimental to the health of my business because I didn't have any expenses, right? One month I was just making a lot more money than I was the next, but I was still taken care of. Well, when you have employees to care for, rent to pay, electricity to keep on, all of those different kinds of things, that minimum threshold is higher. I have to do this much in sales every month in production to keep the lights on and to keep my guys, okay? So just know, as you make the jump to a larger company, that minimum threshold is gonna go up. And that's the thing with growing a business. Like, when I was doing, you know, $20,000 a month, well, I really only needed $5,000 a month just to stay afloat, right? Well, then when I'm doing $70,000 a month, all of last year in 2023, that minimum number is a lot higher. It's $50,000 a month, right? And so you just got to know that comes with the territory, okay? So number two, as your overhead grows, your minimum numbers also grow. Last one here, number three, you're on the hook for the work, but you also get to pay yourself the labor. Now, this is one of the beautiful things about staying small. It's beautiful or it's painful depending upon where you are. If you're the only one doing the work, you're on the hook for getting the work done. If you're really small, it's just you, you're on the hook for doing the work, but you get to pay yourself all the labor. As soon as you pay somebody else the labor, that money is leaving your household, going to somebody else's household, okay? So if you have kids that are older, if you have a spouse that can help, I would say make sure that you're bringing them on as employees first. But as you're doing the work, as you're on the hook for the work, you're getting to keep all of that labor cost inside of your household. You're getting to pay yourself and your family for that work that you do. That's one of the beautiful things of staying small. Now, one of the things I wanted to cover real quick inside of this video was this concept that I call peaks of profitability. what are the peaks of profitability? So the peaks of profitability, something really important to know, the peaks of profitability are also going to be the peaks of your workload, the peaks of your stress. Okay, so typically around $20,000 a month is the peak of profitability for a solo guy in his 2-car garage or in his shop in his backyard or in his basement. That's a peak of profitability. One guy, when he's busting his tail, he can get about $20,000 per month built and sold and out the door if he's pricing correctly and if he's selling the right products. That's super important. But at $20,000 per month, a guy can do that by himself, working 40 to 50 hours per week, and he's going to be working himself to death. He's going to be trying to keep up with everything. He's going to feel a little burnt out at times, but he's probably going to be making like $12,000 to $14,000 a month, which is huge as an independent woodworker. You're making really good money. The next peak of profitability is before you move into your commercial space. It's getting your part-time or your full-time guy to help you at the house. When you first move into your commercial space, you're gonna be the least profitable that you can be. When you move into a commercial space, you want to have a really good plan to skyrocket growth within the next 30 to 60 days. So you can get back to a place of peak profitability because you're taking on a lot of overhead expenses and your sales haven't really changed that much, but you have a lot more overhead. So you want to be kind of tracking and monitoring these peaks of profitability. And the goal, or my goal, was to find the peak of profitability in a place where I wasn't on the hook for getting the work done. I had empowered and trained employees that could do the work for the business. They were happy they had a job, they were making good money. I was not a stressed out mess working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, right? And so that is a peak of profitability around $60,000, $70,000 now, but it all depends on your unique circumstance. It depends on how much your overhead is, how much your rents are, what your insurance looks like, all the things that we dive into inside the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. So hopefully this video was helpful to you and understanding why maybe keeping your woodworking business small might be the best thing for you. If you have any other questions or want to kind of do an evaluation of what should I do based on where I'm at in the country, where I'm at in the world, what makes sense for me, leave me a comment below. I'd love to talk to you about it and see if we can help. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And then lastly, free resource for you is the Handmade Business Secrets ebook. It's the first link in the description below. Enter your name and email. We will send that to you completely free. There have been over 3,000 people now read that book. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it, and we would love to help you grow your woodworking business as well. So with that being said, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.